Hello everybody, my name is Ansi Stratum and today I'm going to be talking about some of the most common causes or triggers of digestive distress. It's important for you to understand that there is probably not just one cause. There can be a root cause, potentially, so the one thing that was the first domino to fall over, but it's very unlikely. It's usually at least three things. Some people talk about the perfect storm, so it can just be a combination of things. It can be an ongoing assault on you, various small little assaults that have just added up to what you're experiencing now. So there's a theory or a story called the 99 holes in the roof. So it's that 99th hole that is creating the biggest issue, or the last straw that broke the camel's back. So trying to find the main culprit can also drive you a little bit insane. One of the biggest causes behind poor digestion is actually stomach acid that is too little or too low, or the pH is too high when it should be low, like 1.5. There's a lot of things that go wrong when it is not the right acidity. Okay, so when you go on something like a PPI, a proton pump inhibitor, something that blocks the stomach acid, which is quite a common practice, it can actually work counter to what you need. So something that's important for you to understand. Some of the other things that can be behind digestive issues is too little saliva. Because there's enzymes in our saliva, it helps us digest food. Eating too fast, not allowing your body to anticipate that you're about to eat food and produce all the chemicals that it needs to, not allowing the body to do the mechanical work that it needs to. So not chewing your food really finely before you swallow it, meaning that you put a lot more work on the stomach, and then it just keeps getting passed on and on and on. So chew your food. It can be drinking really carbonated beverages and swallowing a lot of gas, as crazy as that might sound. It could be eating really bubbly, airy food, or chewing bubblegum even can be one of those things. Not producing adequate digestive enzymes, so either in your saliva but also in your pancreas. Your pancreas creates digestive enzymes. You can get supplements to help with that, although you don't want that to be a permanent solution. It wouldn't be a permanent solution anyway. Not making enough bile, not having a gallbladder, so maybe it's been removed, and so you're not making bile, which means that you're not breaking down fats, you're not emulsifying your fats, which means a lot of things, but it's not good for the gut. Not pooping enough, not drinking enough water. We need water to make stomach acid. Drinking water with meals, which actually dilutes the stomach acid. So yes, we want to drink water because we want to help the body to create stomach acid, but we don't want to be drinking the water at the same time, especially not cold water at the same time as that we're eating. Okay, so we want to prime the environment, help it out, don't make things more difficult for the body. Inflammation in the gut can cause digestive issues, but I hate saying inflammation because, actually what's causing the inflammation isn't it's not the problem, it's, what is leading to the inflammation. So that hyperpermeable gut lining that is perhaps got that issue of the leaky gut now, where the tight junctions are not so tight anymore and they've been compromised, and proteins and things that might not be properly breaking down, they're now moving right through into the bloodstream, not in the amino acid form, but in bigger chunks, and they are activating the immune system, and that's creating issues perhaps for you. Poor food choices, but poor food choices is a pretty common one, or poor food combinations. So yes, the digestive system is robust, but sometimes when we have just taken it too far, we've taxed it too much, we need to give it some help, and we need to think about what foods we're putting together. So certain foods that digest really quickly might not be suitable to eat with foods that digest really slowly, like meat and watermelon might not be the best combination, especially if you're eating the watermelon after you've eaten the meat, because while the meat's going to go and digest over quite a long period, the watermelon will digest real quickly, and it'll be sitting there wanting to get out. That can cause some issues. Trust me, I've seen this. Triggers can be a type of food. So some people respond to oranges with reflux. Some people can't handle really heavy caffeinated beverages. Some people don't do well with certain spices. Chili is quite a common one. Fatty foods, Foods high in sulfur, so garlic, Brussels sprouts, yum, yum. Onions, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, all those brassicas. Chocolate, also a migraine trigger for some people, can be related to the gut, something to think about. So it's really up to you to pay attention to the foods that you're eating and how they make your body feel. And what you want to really do is look for patterns, because it might change. One day you might have a reaction from it, the next you might not, and it can drive you nuts. So it is useful to try and see if you can notice a pattern. Hello. So my camera's battery just died, so I'm using my phone. Okay, so I might look a little bit different, but I have a child and I'm just about to have to go and pick him up from daycare. So I promised myself I'm going to get this video done today. So I'm going to get it done today. Okay, so in that mucosal lining, there's constituents that help you not only absorb nutrients from your food, but they protect. It's a buffer against that acidity, because that stomach environment is meant to be super acidic, super acidic. And that's why the idea that if you're experiencing reflux, then your stomach acid is too high, too much. It's the acidity, the pH is too low. It just doesn't sit. It doesn't compute, because it's meant to be really low. The pH is meant to be really low. That is how you were designed. That is why you have that really thick mucosal lining that's constantly regenerating itself. But when that lining gets worn away and it gets compromised, you will know all about it. You will feel it. And also you won't be able to really absorb vitamin B12 and iron very well. So, and there's a few other things that get absorbed directly out of the stomach. But suffice it to say that a compromised mucosal lining can also lead to digestive issues. One of the things that you might be experiencing, and which came first, the chicken or the egg, is H. pylori, that can create other issues like distension and bloating and not being able to digest your food, because it actually suppresses stomach acid, and there's a bit of a cycle going on there, but we don't have time to talk about H. pylori today. Helicobacter pylorus bacteria that most people actually have, but not most people have issues when they have it. So something to think about. SIBO, so small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, that can be another cause/symptom. So it's one of those things that can be really difficult to treat. You don't know what came first, and so you need to really take a step back and understand what's going on. And this is why I'm saying, it's difficult to put this in a quick video, because there's so much that you need to understand about yourself. You can also have anatomical issues that are causing this problem, in which case addressing the diet is not going to be a long-term solution or the ultimate solution. And there might have to be other ways that you go to fix that or to understand that issue, work with a consultant. But some anatomical things that can be happening could be diverticulitis. There could be little pouches in your intestines. They're very, very tiny, but bacteria can collect there, and that can become an issue. Because you don't want that. You don't want bacteria just sitting stagnant in little pockets of your intestine, making their stuff, giving off their junk. Yeah, scratch that. That's not the words. You could have celiac disease. That needs to get tested for in a very specific way, by the way. And you don't either just have it or not have it. There's actually a whole spectrum, but the test, at the moment at least, it shows you either you have it or you don't have it, and it's not that black and white. So, if you test negative for it, it's not necessarily, I don't have celiac disease, I have no issues with wheat, I can just eat. So a hernia, when you have the integrity of your abdominal cavity has given way, and so there might be a bit of a hernia. Sphincters not being toned, I don't know that word sphincter, but you have a little sphincter that's each end of your stomach, and also between your small intestine and your large intestine. And when their tone is off, when they're not doing their job, being nice and tight and opening and shutting as they should, then that can create issues that could potentially, for example, lead to SIBO. So you see how things kind of are all interlinked with each other. Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, things like that can also lead to malabsorption, malnutrition. So you may be eating all the right foods, but you're not gaining weight. and some kind of an obstruction in the bowels or in the small bowels, or and again, that is something that's not going to be a diet issue ultimately. Now for treatments. Okay, so yes, there is no one treatment. There is no one thing to do or not to do that is so individualized. However, there are general principles of eating. And I think if you think, if you deep down in your gut, you know what that is. You know what the right things and the wrong things to do are. While I don't like to think of foods in terms of good and bad and right and wrong, because it's more understanding this is the food and this is how it affects me. And so this is how I need to counter it if I'm going to eat it, or perhaps I need to not eat it for a while and find some alternative or a substitute. If you are interested in how to treat some of these symptoms, I'm going to be continuing to bring out videos. And while there might be a video that talks broadly overall of treatment, because there are general frameworks that people can use that are useful. However, each set of symptoms might be indicating a different root cause or a different range of issues, and those need to be addressed. So you do need to go a little bit specific. You do need to understand your own specific circumstances. I can't just give you a blanket solution. However, in saying that, I would like to leave you with one thing. If you are in digestive distress right now, my advice for you is to keep your food clean and simple. So the key word here is food. What do I mean by food? I mean things that your granny would recognize as food: fruits, vegetables, meats, grains, legumes, those kinds of things. Clean and simple. So clean, try and get things from a farmer's market, for example, where they might not be labeled as organic, but they might be spray-free or chemical-free or whatever. Talk to the person selling it, but you're more likely to get clean produce there. You don't want to be introducing a lot of inflammatory chemicals into your body that's on your healthy food. And keep it simple. So don't be eating meals that just have so many components in them that it becomes really hard for you to know what you're actually reacting to. While diversity is amazing, when we are trying to heal and we're trying to remove triggers, it's easier to have just simple meals. It's easier for the stomach, and it's easier for you if something does go wrong. Then you can at least go, there were 3 things on my plate. Okay, it was one of those 3 things. So eat food, keep it clean, keep it simple until you are able to take the next steps to start to identify what are the triggers for you and start to implement some mediating steps towards resolution. Okay, so I just realized that it's probably more useful for you if I just show you where your stomach is. I don't want to assume you don't know, and I don't want to assume you do. So I'm just going to show you. So this is my left side. Here is where my ribs come together. So if you press here, you might feel a little bit of tenderness. You might not. Just something to note. But as you go along the ridge of your rib and you put your fingers under there, that is where your stomach is located. So it's kind of in this upper left area. This is not your stomach. This is all your intestines, and there's 30 feet of it. It's like the height of a telephone pole. So stomach, okay, liver, stomach, and then all the intestines. Yeah, that's the noise they make sometimes. All the intestines right here, okay, and your colon. Yeah. That's also the noise that makes. So I hope that was helpful. Just in case my description wasn't very useful to you, now you can have the visual again. So stomach, press under there, and if you have pain in there, that's not your stomach, that's your guts, that's your intestines. And if it's kind of low, here's your belly button, hip. If it's kind of under or below your belly button, it might be more your colon, large bowel, and if you put your thumb, pinky on your navel, pinky on the top of your hip, find the midpoint. If you press on there, it's easier to do this when you're lying down and you can relax, so it's not taut. If you press on there, you just kind of push in circular motion. So that's painful. That's where your ileocecal valve is. So that's that valve between the small intestine and the the large intestine. If that's painful, then it might be indicating that there is a bit of inflammation in that area as well. So just a little bit of self-examination, thought that might be useful for you. I will be putting out a lot more similar content in the future. If you want to get hold of me and get more personalized advice, you can find me on the details below. And I want to leave you with this message. However unwell you are feeling, there is hope out there for you that you can feel better. Please trust me with this. I have been in that situation where honestly, I couldn't even imagine a future. At that point, it took me a few years to be able to just feel like I could think about anything other than my health. But it did happen. But these certain things that do have to come together, and they include the people that you surround yourself with, the type of support, the information, the quality of the information that you have access to, and hope. So please don't let go of hope. Hope is the most important thing. You will get resolution if you keep believing that you will. Until next time, bye.